Gabby. I am a frugal mom, a music lover, a former stand-up comic, a dreamer, and a person with the gift of gab. My dad always used to say, Trisha, you're a character. So, my name is Trisha Nelson. I really didn't want my first video to be about this issue, but unfortunately it's been just weighing so heavily on my heart that I do feel like I need to talk about the Gabby Petito situation. Unfortunately today the ruling did come from the coroner that her demise came from, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but that's what happened to her. What the thing is that I really want to use this channel for is to help busy parents to prepare inexpensive quick meals, to free up your time so you have more time for family. Because I was a single parent, I sometimes worked 16 hours a day. There wasn't always a lot of time left for my kids, and I don't want that for other parents. I want you to be able to share as much time with your family as possible. I'd like to be able to share some tips with you to be organized, or to help you clean that one thing that you think you can't clean, and I bet you can clean. So those are the things that I want to be able to share with you, but today is not the day that I feel comfortable sharing that with you. Today, that's what I want to talk about, is Gabby Petito. I'd really like for all of us to feel like we've made a great friend and that we can talk about anything on this channel. If there's anything that you'd like to discuss, let me know in the comments. We'll talk about it. I'm just happy to have a channel that is ours, that's yours, that's mine, that we can talk about anything that we want to talk about. And we'll research anything together. We'll work on things together. I want us to be a little family channel. So, as reluctant as I am to talk about this Gabby Petito situation, I do think that what was happening in her life is very important. I want everyone to remember, though, this is all just my personal opinion. If you don't agree with my thoughts and opinions, that's okay. We can agree to disagree. You're welcome to share your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, but I don't want you to make cruel remarks about her, about her family, her friends. You don't know who's going to be watching this, and her family is hurting enough right now. And I really don't like to watch people argue at all. I don't think it's necessary. I think people have the ability to be able to agree to disagree, and I'd like us to be able to do that. I will be watching the comments. I don't want people calling each other names, and it's just not necessary. So I would like just for us to be kind to one another. I would like to discuss the traffic stop from August the 12th. As her door was opened, everything in her posture, in my opinion, was frightened girl. It wasn't, I'm afraid of the police. To me, it was more, I'm afraid of this dude that's sitting next to me. She had a look of fear in her eyes. Her face was collapsed in a look of terror. Her body was pushed as far back into her seat as she could get. She was sitting on the edge of her seat as close to the door as possible. And that's the way that I sit in a car when I'm not feeling comfortable, or if I'm feeling vulnerable in a vehicle. So I'm just basing that just on how I sit. When the police officer asked her to exit the vehicle, I could almost hear like a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to sit in the car with this guy anymore. When she does get out of the car, they are speaking with her. I saw emotional tears from her. I didn't see angry tears. I didn't see like, oh, I'm so mad that you got us pulled over. I saw tears of pain and hurt and emotion. I didn't see angry that, like, you know, he had said that she was mad that, oh, I'm so mad at you that you got us pulled over. That's not what I saw. I saw emotional pain tears. So let me know if that's what you saw too. Did anyone else notice that her narcissist boyfriend was being charming and friendly with the police? Because that's what narcissists do. They try to come off like they're the good guy, they're the normal one in the relationship, while they're painting their partner to be this unhinged person who just goes crazy over nothing, over something stupid. I found him to be a little silly to be worried about his dirty feet. You're hiking. You're going to get dirty feet. So stop whining about your dirty feet. While the police officer removed her from the van and he was speaking with her, she was clearly emotional and explaining her day. In less than 4-minute conversation, she says, I'm sorry 4 separate times. A lot of times a person that's in a situation of DV is taught, or it's a learned behavior, to apologize a lot because it diffuses that situation frequently. In my situation, I used my humor a lot, which is how I became a stand-up comic. But a lot of times you will apologize for things you don't even know what you're apologizing for. You don't know what you did, you don't know why they're mad, but you're apologizing just to kind of bring the situation down, to make it less angry. And in a 4-minute conversation, she's saying she's sorry. I mean, that to me is a lot of I'm sorry's for such a short conversation. So the officer puts her in the back seat of the car, but later the officer number 2 says, well, did you talk to her about this? And he says, well, no, I didn't get that far because she was hyperventilating. Okay, normal respiration rates are from 12 to 16 breaths per minute. I timed her breathing rate, although she was sobbing, so it was a little bit hard to time her breathing rate. But she was, in 2 minutes, she was breathing approximately 24 breaths per minute, which is about 12 breaths per minute. So I'm not convinced that she was hyperventilating. I think she was just emotional, but I don't think she was hyperventilating. At this time, I also noticed that Brian was apologizing. They had gone over there talking to him. He was apologizing for, if I was speeding, I'm sorry about that. What do you mean if, Brian? It was a 15-mile-an-hour zone. You were doing 45. You knew you were speeding. Don't give me this if I was speeding. My opinion, again, just my opinion, was that he knew the situation that happened at the store. There was a 911 call made from the store, which I'll attach. I'll let you hear that 911 call, where they're saying that he is DVing her. And I think in his mind, he was doing everything he could to put as much distance between that store and where he was so that he wouldn't get caught. I don't think he was aware that there had been a picture taken of his vehicle's license plate. There's no doubt that it was them arguing that day, because the person that called 911 took a photo of the vehicle and of the license plate. So there's no doubt it's them. What I noticed about him was that he would try to be very charming with the police. I do want you to understand, though, again, everything I'm saying, it's my opinion. I have no inside knowledge. I don't know these people. I don't live in their minds. I just want to keep reminding you that, because I don't want anybody coming back and saying, oh, well, that woman said, well, that woman's just giving you her opinion. So, you know, I don't want you to think that I know anything that anybody else doesn't know. I just kind of know people. I know narcissists because I've dated a lot of them. I was raised by one. So I do know a little bit more about them probably than the average person. He was doing very unkind things to her, and he knew it. And he was trying to get away, as far away from there as he possibly could. He said that they were on their way to pick up water for their 6-gallon water jugs. I don't think he was that thirsty that he needed to go 45 and a 15. I mean, it looked like to me when they pulled them over, she had a bottle of water in her hand, which they probably purchased at the store, but it's probably expensive. They're getting their water wherever they were going to fill up their water. I'm sure it was free, so I'm sure they probably purchased a couple of bottles just to kind of hold them over. But dude, I don't think you were so thirsty that you had to go 45 miles an hour to get your water. I don't think, when he was asked to sit on the curb, he was asked if he had anything in his pockets. He said only his wallet. He's asked for his ID, which he said, oh, it's in the van. Well, every guy that I've ever talked to, his ID's in his wallet. I'm not a hiker. I don't know if that's a hiking thing. You don't carry your ID, which I think would make more sense to carry your ID in case you fall off a cliff. But if you ever see me hiking, it's because I'm lost, so please stop and help me find my car. But why does he have a wallet but no ID on him? That I found that to be a little fishy. Gabby was asked in the original video if he had HIT her, but there was so much background noise. There was a police officer talking on his radio. There were cars going by, so you really couldn't hear her answer. But there was a second question asked by the police officer, which I don't think he would have asked her if her answer had been no, and that question was where. And there was a second video that was put out about a week ago where you can hear all the answers clearly. And at first she does say that yes, he did HIT her, and then she says, well, I did it to him first, and then she backtracks again and says, well, he grabbed my face, which I think there was a mistake made in calling her the perpetrator. I think if that really is the situation where he's grabbing her face, and I think that they should have both been charged with ASSAULTE, or no E at the end, ASSAULT. Yeah, I agree with the keeping them apart 24 hours. I'd like to have seen them keep them apart permanently for the rest of their lives. I think that would have been much better. I don't think they can do that. It just concerns me that they kind of diminished his part in what happened. One officer had even said at one point, well, you know, she has marks on her too, almost as an afterthought, and absolutely nothing is said about it. They just, I mean, not that I don't think it would have changed the situation. I don't think it would have changed what happened a month later. I think that, you know, she would still be gone, unfortunately, but it may have actually opened her eyes, though, to the situation. You know, here's me hopefully thinking, but I just feel like maybe if she'd been a little bit more open and a little bit more honest, maybe her parents would have come and gotten her. Maybe they would have said, honey, come home. But, you know, at 22, I was not as honest about the DV that was happening to me either as I would be at this age. you know, at this age, I would tell anybody if it was happening to me now, because I will not live that way. But at 22, I just had one person taking over for my father. Not that my father was physically, you know, that way, but emotionally he was that way. I was called a lot of names growing up, told that I wouldn't amount to much. I had very, very low self-esteem, so I chose people that kept my esteem, you know, way down there. And I haven't dated in a couple of years because I've been working on my self-esteem and raising that. And I do have 2 kids. They're in their 20s. My son has a wonderful girlfriend. He's chosen very well. My daughter's 25, and she is not dating at this time, which I'm glad. I think she's working on her, which I'm very happy about. I want her to find someone that treats her. I've always told her, you are my precious gem, and I want someone that treats you as if you are a precious gem. I've always tried to build up my children's self-esteem more than mine was. And so I'm hoping that that's gotten through. But, you know, I feel like by calling her the primary aggressor, it's wrong. I feel that they both should have been charged. For him to be called a victim infuriates me. It infuriates me more now that she's no longer with us, and his cowardly action is to hide. I think hiding is just the most cowardly thing he can do right now, and I hope he sees this and he knows that the entire world thinks he is nothing but a coward. I am also very confused by him stating that he has no cell phone, and within like 2 minutes he's whipping out a cell phone. Like, is he a magician and he just pops out a cell phone? It just doesn't make sense to me. It was also brought up a second time about a cell phone when they had their no contact order, and you know, they couldn't speak to each other, but they're sending messages back and forth to each other through the police. And she tells the police officer to remind him to take his cell phone charger because he's always forgetting it. Okay, if you don't have a phone, you shouldn't be having a cell phone charger. So I don't understand it. This discrepancy has been, you know, touched on twice, yet nobody seems to say anything. Like, wait, I thought you didn't have a cell phone, which is, you know, should have been said. Another reason I am irked by him being called a victim is the fact that she had marks on her. But still, you know, yeah, she had marks on her too. Oh well. That's how I feel like it was treated. I believe that he was gaslighting her the day of the traffic stop. She's, you know, the way that she describes the morning was, you know, it was, they were fighting all day and she was straightening things up and he was kind of frustrated by it. She was telling him, I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that, I'm sorry I'm so mean to you sometimes, I'm sorry I have OCD, again with the numerous apologies. But yet he paints it as, it was such a lovely morning, and then we got in this fight, and then I told her, let's just go our separate ways, go for a walk, is what he said. Let's go for a walk. Okay, if we're just going for a walk, why are you hanging my backpack off the back of our van? I don't understand why he needed to put her items outside other than to gaslight her, get her upset, think that he's going to leave her behind. You know, and she's already admitted to having a lot of anxiety. I have panic disorder myself. If I'm out in the middle of nowhere with somebody and I feel like you're going to just dump me somewhere, and I have no friends, I have no family, I have nobody to help me, and you're just gonna leave me and my backpack in the middle of nowhere, I'm probably gonna become a little unhinged too. So, yeah, I think that there was some gaslighting on his part. I think that he likes having control, and I think that, you know, if all we're gonna do is walk away and cool off for 20 minutes, the bag could have stayed in the van. Walk away for your 20 minutes, half hour, however long it takes you to cool down. I mean, I'm over stuff in 5-10 minutes. Maybe it takes him a day or two. I don't know. But I feel like he probably did that to freak her out. Intentionally freak her out. People in DV situations are very afraid to voice the truth. And I believe that you know, that kind of toxic situation, I don't believe we got the entire truth from either of them. I think we got half-truths from both sides. I don't think that, you know, he was asked if he takes medication, and interestingly enough, the video or the audio was silenced. But immediately after that, the audio comes back while he's saying she's just crazy. Again, a narcissist painting his victim as this unhinged, crazy person, and him as just, you know, this, I'm the normal one in the relationship. At one point, his stance is like this sweet little Catholic schoolboy. He's got his hands clasped in front of him, and he's just being overly friendly and chatty with the police officers. But what has kept me up at night thinking about it and visualizing it is this smirk he had on his face. If you watch that video, which I'll put a link to it in, you know, in the description, I want you to watch that video and see this just, I'm getting away with something smirk. I mean, that's how I viewed it. Maybe I'm biased because she's not here and he is, but that's just how I feel. I have a very close friend that I love very dearly that I think needs to leave a situation. She says it's easier said than done. I've had to remind her that I've had to do it twice. Once without children and once with children. I'm here to tell you that it can be done. I've had to do it. I do not regret it. I do have to warn you though that leaving is the most dangerous time to go because narcissists, DVs, they don't like to lose control. And that's what a lot of this is about, is control. So I'm going to give you some tips and some information. You are going to have to first mentally prepare yourself that you are going. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are going. You have to choose a date and you have to stick to that date. I actually spoke with some professionals today, which I will talk to you about in a moment. But I wish that I could convince all of you of your worth. That it is so much more than the person that has convinced you that you are not worth anything. There is nothing that you can do, nothing that another person should be putting their hands on you, or that they should be stealing your self-worth, or making you feel that you are unworthy of being loved. I am assuring you, you are lovable. You deserve to be treated with love and respect. You don't deserve to have your spirit broken. I had a boyfriend. I love to sing. I have terrible stage fright though, but I have entered contests. I have not only won contests, but I've come in first place behind a professional singer. And I fought against my own stage fright to do this. And I was singing in the car one time, and he told me, I hate the sound of your voice. If I wanted to hear you sing, I wouldn't turn on the radio. And it would have been better if he'd punched me in the nose, because my nose would have healed, but my spirit didn't. And I didn't sing for 4 years. I didn't sing when I was alone. I didn't sing in front of anybody. And he killed my spirit for a while. I just started singing again in the last month. So I understand how horrible it can feel to have your spirit broken. But don't let anybody make you live a miserable, unhappy life and steal your spirit and your hopes and your dreams. Don't let them steal your joy. I had my joy stolen from me. Don't let that happen to you. You have the power to lift yourself up. You have to love and respect yourself and move on. And I'll admit, dating has been difficult, because I'm afraid that I'm just going to keep finding the same person just with a different face. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but I think you need to be sure to get counseling. Find out why you think you deserve to be mistreated, and learn how to love yourself. I've been in counseling for quite some time. And without that counseling, I probably wouldn't be singing still. So I do want to share some advice with you should you decide to leave. I called a wonderful place called Turning Point. It's in my area. The number is 586-463-6990. It's a 24-hour hotline. And you can call them from any state that you live in, and they can help you find a place to help you within your own state. I want you to be sure to call them if you need help. They helped me so much 11 years ago. I called them the night before I had to leave home because I was afraid I was going to back out. And they told me that I was stronger than I thought I was, and that I could do this. And I'm sorry for being so emotional, even 11 years later, but I had to leave with 2 children, and I was afraid that we would not wake up the next day. I slept with a gun under my pillow. And I don't want anyone else to live that life. I don't want you to be afraid to live like that. I want you to get out, and I want you to live a happy life and be happy and smile and dance. And I was told one time a couple of years ago, you know, if you could just dance every day for the rest of your life, you would be so happy. I guess I look very happy when I dance. And I wish that I could dance every day of my life too. But I want you to do is call that number and get the help that you need in your state. Again, that number is 586-463-6990. It's a 24-hour hotline. It's called Turning Point. They will help you in any state that you live in. They will help you find the help in your state. They're just amazing people. They're loving, they're compassionate. I can't even begin to thank them for what they did for me. So, I'm going to tell you this though. I don't want you to call from your home phone or from any phone that he may be able to find that number on your phone. Because if he has any inkling that you're leaving him, or that you're... I have a very close friend that I think needs to leave an abusive situation. She says it's easier said than done, but I'm here to tell you it can be done. I've had to do it twice. Once with children and once without. I don't regret it for a minute. I must warn you though that leaving is the most dangerous time of the relationship. Narcissists, unkind people, deviers, they don't like to lose control. And that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be losing that control, and they don't like that. So you have to be mentally prepared to do this. You have to pick a date, and you have to stick to that date. So I want you to decide, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it on this date, and I want you to stick to this date. I wish that I could convince you that you are worth as much as I know that you're worth. This person has convinced you that you're worthless, that you're unlovable, that you're not worth anything. Anybody that puts their hands on you, they don't really love you. Someone that tells you that you're worthless, they don't really love you. That's not love. I am assuring you that you are lovable. You deserve to be treated with love and respect. No one deserves to be degraded or to have your spirit broken or to live a miserable life. You have the power to lift yourself up. About 4 years ago, I was in a relationship, and one of the things that I love to do is sing. It brings me absolute joy. And I've actually won contests, and I came first runner-up in a contest behind a professional. So it's not that I'm a terrible singer, but I remember one day we were in the car, and I was just singing along and enjoying myself, and he turned off the radio, and I said, "Why did you do that?" And he said, "Because if I wanted to hear you sing, I would just listen to you sing." And he said, "I hate the sound of your voice." And I didn't sing for another 4 years because of him saying that. I would rather he would have punched me in the nose than that he would have said that, because he broke my spirit. My nose would have healed, but my spirit, it took my spirit a long time to heal. And the first time I sang in 4 years was a couple of nights ago with my son's girlfriend, because I'm not usually someone that sings in front of people anyway, but because I trust Kayla and because I love Kayla, it just came out. I just started singing in front of her, and it brought back so much joy into my life. Don't let someone kill your spirit like that. He took away a lot of joy from me for a long time. I've been working on myself for a long, long time, trying to get my spirit back, to get my love back. I had to learn how to love myself again. So that's one of the things that you're going to need to do after this. You're going to need to get some counseling. I've been in counseling off and on for years. So I want you to be able to give yourself that power to lift yourself up and to love and respect yourself and give yourself that power. I'm going to admit, dating has not been easy because I have the fear of finding that same person over and over again. But that doesn't have to be you. When you get some counseling and you start meeting other people and you start doing that with that inner strength and that inner power, you're going to find somebody that treats you well, that treats you right, that loves you and respects you. So don't be afraid to date just because I am. Okay, I want you to learn to love yourself because I'm still learning. I'd like to share some advice with you though. Should you decide to leave, I did decide to call a wonderful place called Turning Point. They're here in my area. I'm in the Michigan area. Their phone number is 586-463-6666. 586-990. They have a 24-hour hotline, and even though they're here in Michigan, you can call them and they will help you in whatever state you live in to find the help that you need in your area. They'll help you find a shelter. They'll help you find places to help you get a job. They'll help give you those resources that you need in order to leave. So, like I said, they might be here in Michigan, but they'll help you anywhere that you live. So I want you to call Turning Point, and again, that number is 586-463-6990, and it is a 24-hour hotline. But what I don't want you to do is call from a phone where he may find that number and find out what you're doing. Maybe call from work, call from a burner phone, call from a friend's home, call from my best friend's home. This is my best friend, Hunter. When you're planning to leave, don't act any differently in any way, because he'll notice it. Start spring cleaning. You don't want to take with you a shirt that your child owns that fit them 3 years ago, but it doesn't fit them today. You're going to need all the space you can get for packing and for keeping those items. It's not going to do you any good to have a shirt that doesn't fit your kids anymore, or something that you're not going to wear anymore. When you're looking for a new home, give out your work phone number, not your home phone number. Don't give out your address. Explain the situation. I found that the place that my children and I went to were very understanding about my situation. Open a bank account, one that your partner is not affiliated with. Say you're going to the Bank of ABC, don't start an account with the Bank of ABC, because they can sometimes mix up those accounts. You may not like this next bit of advice, but it may save your life. Tell no one that you're leaving. Not your best friend, not your mother, not your cousin, not even your children. Because your best friend may say, well, maybe I can help their situation. Maybe I can talk to him and things will get better. Even your mother might do that. And your children, sometimes children don't know they're saying things that they shouldn't say. Well, we're leaving you anyway. And you don't want to put that heavy of a burden on your children either. Your friends will forgive you once they realize that you're just trying to protect them, because they are going to be the first people he calls when he realizes you're gone. That's what mine did. He called my siblings, he called my best friend, and none of them knew I was gone. So he couldn't intimidate them into telling them where I was at. They didn't know either. Honestly, like I said, they will forgive you over time. I ended up hiring a homeless man to help me. I called my brother, who lived in Alabama. He didn't know that we were still in touch. He thought we never spoke. I ended up asking an old friend that he didn't even know I still knew to help me. I was blessed, and these people helped me. What I did the day that I left was, I worked a very odd shift. I left in the mornings at 4 o'clock a.m. I still left at 4 o'clock a.m. the day that I left. I met my brother at a coffee shop. We waited until we knew he was gone for his job. We gave him an hour to be gone. You know, sometimes people, they might spill coffee on their shirt, or they might forget something. You want to give them a good hour to be gone. We finished getting done an hour before he was supposed to be home, because we didn't want him to come home an hour early. You may also want to let the police know in your area what's happening, just so they can be aware of the situation, that you may need to give them a call. This next part is for Brian Laundrie. This is for you. But don't all forget, this is just my opinion, my thoughts, my feelings. I don't want anybody coming back saying, oh, that horrible girl, what she said. But this is how I feel. You're a whiny, cowardly little boy who enjoys hurting people in any way that you can, and by hiding, you're hurting Gabby's family again. Her family deserves to know how things happen between the two of you. Although we do know now what happened to her, they deserve to know why it happened to her. You had between 4 and 7 minutes to stop doing what you did to her, to make that choice, to ask yourself, isn't this the woman that I'm in love with, the woman that I want to have a family with, the woman that I want to have children with? But you chose to forget those 4 to 7 minutes and continue doing what you did to her. But you went ahead and did it. You took her life. I don't like that you're hiding. The simple fact is you're hiding because you're guilty. Innocent people don't hide. Even if I try to give you the tiniest bit of the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was an accident, although I don't know how that would be an accident. If I found that, you know, maybe you just got angry and you snapped, I still think you're a coward. You have some weird obsession with having clean feet or getting your feet dirty because you have a childish obsession with that. If I ever found you, I'd sit on your silly skinny butt and let the neighbors do whatever they wanted. I have vision problems, so I wouldn't see a thing. Or I'd just sit on you and wait until the police showed up. Whichever happened. I guess that the problem that I have with you is that I think that your parents know where you are. And I think that they should be charged just as strongly as you are. I think that they're breaking the law just as deeply as you did. And I think they need to sit in prison as well. If I'm wrong about that, if they don't know where you are, I ask for their forgiveness. But I don't believe that they don't know. I think they know exactly where you are. I think they're taking care of your needs. And I think they need to go to prison. I think they need to be charged with every legal charge possible. They are, in my opinion, hiding you. And as much as I love my children, they know without a doubt that although my love for them is unconditional, they also pay for their wrongdoings. And if I knew that they took a bright light from this world, I would be the first person to drive them to and sitting beside them at the police station as they confessed, because they know without a shadow of a doubt they will always be held accountable for every wrongdoing, and they're rewarded for every accomplishment. In my opinion, your only accomplishment is that you're a worthless human being who has your parents wrapped around your tiny finger. So, my darling, lying, DVing, spoiled, disgusting little boy, after all of these years, I have finally come to use a first. Not an easy thing to do at my age. Turn yourself in and prove me wrong if you don't like my description of you. And to Gabby's parents, my heart goes out to you. We all know this isn't the way life is supposed to go. We are supposed to leave before our children. My prayers are with your family, that you can find some sense of peace in knowing how many lives your beautiful daughter touched. And that even if one victim of DV can be saved by her situation, she sacrificed for a blessed cause. I know it cannot bring much solace, but in trying to find one decent thing in this situation, it was the only thing I could come up with. We all remember her as an angelic soul, so please know that so many of us are thinking of you, sending our good thoughts and prayers to you. If I could, I would give you a big, loving, comforting embrace, but since I cannot, know that I am sending you one virtually. Take care of one another, and to all of you that are still listening, please do the same. If you see someone that looks like they need your help, don't be afraid to step in, even if it's just to call 911. We are all in this together. As you can see, I have my Halloween spread out, so I wish all of you a happy Halloween. Stay safe, love to all, and sending each of you a virtual hug. Thank you. I'm Trish Nelson.